Welcome. Today we're going to be diving into the mystery teachings of Eliphas Levi. And for those who don't know who Eliphas Levi is, he's basically the one who revived the esoteric occult arts in the West, and is where people like Manly P. Hall or Hermetic orders draw a lot of their information from. He was kind of the top dog when it comes to Western esotericism and bridging the gap between what most people think are irreconcilable religions or ideas. For example, Christianity, esoteric Catholicism, esoteric Kabbalah, and ceremonial magic, all unified and brought together. So today we're going to be diving into the Doctrine and Ritual of High Magic by Eliphas Levi, and we're just kind of get a feel for some key points and understand how magic works and how kind of the basis of esoteric science of whence most of the people that we listen to, we can kind of just go to where they got the information, right? He was kind of the one, and he was very religious, started in, exoteric Catholicism, and then kind of departed from that and decided to start studying occult esotericism, because he saw that the Catholic Church was just the exoteric doctrine of the inner esoteric veiled universal truth. That he said that the Catholic religion, or let's say the Christian religion, is a direct replica or direct transmission from, and has within it, the great arcanum, or the great universal religion. So that's why there's really no argument when you become an esotericist. You start to understand that you don't have to argue with the Muslim or the Jew or the Christian. In fact, if you understand that the most of the disagreements are people are using different words and different ideas are being contained in different thought forms, and therefore some religions are talking about one aspect of God while another are talking about another aspect of God. And if you don't understand the transcendental nature of God, then it's going to be hard to come to any type of agreement. So let's dive into the pentagram and how the pentagram represents the Son of God, right? The Son of Man, or the upright spiritual consciousness walking on 2 feet on the earth, right? We say Christ on earth, or Christ walked the earth. How does that happen? Well, through the pentagram, the Christic energy, as we can see in the top of the pentagram is the spiritual energy. And then you have the bottom prongs, earth and water. And then the ones to the right of the top of spirit is air and fire, because air and fire are subtle. So air and fire are going to be out this way, air, fire. And then you're going to have spirit, the head, because that's where the kingdom of heaven is, in the heaven, which is your body's the microcosm. See, Eliphas Levi teaches that the pentagram is not a satanic symbol. It is actually a symbol of spirit manifesting in human form. You could say the logos, or the word of God, or the divine organization principle, making its way and taking a stance on earth, right? Through the earth and water. The spirit anchors itself through earth and water, and then it extends itself through air and fire, and then at the top it organizes itself. See the 2 eyes on the top of the pentagram? That's Isis and Ra. That's the pineal gland and pituitary gland. Those are the 2 glands. And those physical, when we talk about that, we're not talking about, it's not necessarily materialistic. Remember, the physical body is a mirror of the spirit realm. So the pituitary and pineal gland are actually the spiritual eyes. It's the intuition and the imagination, okay? You have your intuition and your imagination. And Eliphas Levi also talks about the importance of combining the will within is the masculine essence with the imagination, the feminine essence, and will plus imagination equals results or equals an outcome. And if that outcome is upright, like the upright pentagram, which means thy will be done as earth as it is in heaven, as words from the Christos are explained, then that wish will be granted. The universe will make sure that that takes place if it's in alignment with the Most High. If it's an upside down pentagram and you're putting earth and water, which is like earthly materialistic things, and watery, emotional attachments above spirit, and spirit is not balanced, that is the pentagram inverted, and that represents material. It means, in some traditions, it means anchoring spiritual energy down into earth to a specific point, but it got mutilated when materialist organizations used it to basically say to, earth or spirit dominating matter, which at that point, if you believe that, matter can dominate spirit, then I question your sanity. But essentially, spirit is the cause, right? That's the whole point of the pentagram. The pentagram is basically saying that you have a causal point within yourself that can create unique, miraculous changes on this, in this realm. You can change someone's life for the better. You can uplift someone out of darkness, right? Our goal as esotericists are to also, our mission can also include helping beings that are on lower planes of the astral realm. And that doesn't necessarily mean disembodied beings. They could be physical beings here who are falling into, violent, evil tendencies. We have to be there to help pull these poor souls out of their anguish, right? Our goal is not only to help the perfect, happy people that are, all the happy, New Age tribe or whatever. We have to actually help those who are suffering in darkness, whether that be anger or violence or lust. We have to confront our inner shadow and tame our inner dragon, right? And once we are able to do that, then we liberate the great mother within us. See, that's another thing that Eliphas Levi teaches, and why he says that the esoteric doctrine is concealed in Catholicism because of Mother Mary, as Mother Mary's all over the planet. We've always seen her Isis. Mother Mary's always been the mother goddess, the mother Kundalini, Maya, the universe, the matrix, the womb. The list can go on. Her names are infinite. But essentially, that is what we need to recover from the shadow self. And we also have to liberate it in other people as well. So when we are upright and we are utilizing the upright pentagram within ourselves, when our soul is upright, right, we have the opportunity and privilege to lift others out of their inversions, correct? So we're able to command the elementals and the demons, right, to obey and to cast them out, right? We are able to cast a circle, and within that circle we're protected, and we're able to not be influenced by the astral parasites or just the negative thought forms in general that are bombarding people, which are easily swayed. The people at the top know how to subconsciously manipulate mankind in a way where they will just do programmed responses like robots. So they know what reaction to get out of people, and they understand the magical chain, which is the important chapter I wanted to get to. Now, with this knowledge, I wanted to put this in the book club. These books are public, I mean, this knowledge is, it's hard to say if, it's definitely not for everyone. So people that usually seek it find it. It's not there for it's pretty intense stuff. It's the great work, so it's not to be popularized. And it's hard to find, people that have read this book and even though it's mainstream. I mean, I got this book in a mainstream store. It's Eliphas Levi is one of the most prominent Western occultists to ever walk the planet. He actually has a very interesting life story, so check that out. Try to find the magical chain. Let's go into a passage here. What is above is like what is below, and what is below is like what is above. In other words, the form is proportional to the idea. The shadow is as deep as the sword is long. The denial is proportional to the contrary affirmation. Production is equal to destruction in the movement which preserves life, and there is no point in infinite space which is not the center of a circle, whose circumference extends and retracts perpetually in space. And what that's actually talking about is Brahman, right? The first initiation you're taught is to understand that God is everywhere, and at the same time has no particular point of consciousness. Everywhere is the particular point of consciousness, and the circumference never ends. So it's it's an infinite plane, infinite heavens, infinite astral. And you could say that it has a center, but the center is everywhere. The center is everywhere, and the circumference is nowhere. And there, I revealed that. It's just to understand. It's basically understanding Eastern Brahmanism from a Western perspective. So, if you meditate on that, you'll understand that your consciousness extends everywhere. That's why you're able to know things that you weren't there necessarily to see, and you don't have to be there to see it or hear it or whatever. It's not necessarily like that. It's just that your consciousness can extend up into those higher frequencies that has access to the whole data mind. So you're accessing these ideas. That's how these, people will say, how do rappers rap so well? Well, they rap so well is because of the fact that they're able to tap into the ether. Check out some of the interviews that Jay-Z has done talking about the Rain Man, which is basically, it's nothing to do with the demonic entity, as if a demonic spirit is coming to. And same with the Bob Dylan interview, as if a demonic entity is coming to whisper songs into Bob Dylan to his ear to have him write songs to confuse us or brainwash us. That's definitely a little bit missing the mark there. What's actually happening and what they're trying to explain is they're able to tap into the flow state. The flow state is an ever wellspring of creativity, and that can be accessed by rising your inner frequency to that dimension, when picking up on those subtle frequencies and being able to access and tune into it, because like attracts like. It's not about what you want to be, it's about who you are and what you're refining on the inside that's going to dictate the output. And where is your elevator on the inner planes? If you're going and pulling these lyrics from a high level, they're going to flow, and it's as if you didn't write it. It's as if someone gave it to you, or it's as if you wrote it down. But what's happening is you're transmitting the impressions, honing in on that particular information. Now, that's not to say that entities or beings who have passed on from this world can't transmit energy and thought and communicate words, because the second book of Thomas H. Burgoyne, The Light of Egypt, Volume 2, was written from beyond the tomb. His assistant wrote that by tapping into his frequency and actually being a channeling, and not a medium, not in the way that you would think. We have to refer to that and get the terminology correct on that part, whether or not it was channeling or mediumship. But I believe the channeling was the true aspect, and mediumship is when you're emptying yourself and allowing another astral entity to kind of take over through trance, in which you're unable to have a clear paradigm in that sense. So it's good to instead tune your inner radio to a high frequency into which you can transmit the energy and have your nervous system refined enough to be able to pick up and communicate those impressions and messages into the physical realm. It just takes a lot of practice, and that practice just includes stillness, silence, observation of the self, contemplation of the self, and a daily remembrance of who you are, where you come from, and understanding that every day is a day to serve the truth, to serve the eternal good, to serve the higher principles, because these higher principles, love, wisdom, and understanding, the triple triad crown, which are all three part of one, right? One is three aspects: soul, mind, body, right? Physical, astral, spirit. They all function together to come together. Father, mother, and child. The child is the crown. The child is the new king. He is the kingdom come. Because we always renew ourselves through understanding that we have, like in the esoteric knowledge of the Bible, you look at Adam. Adam, in and of himself, Adam was the fallen Adam. Then you have the Christ, or Michael, the angel. You have Adam, if he took another path, or the alternative Adam, or Adam in the making, right? Because we learned in the previous videos, the previous lectures, watch all the videos on the channel, that the story of Genesis is self-revealing, meaning the story of Genesis is showing what is to come, right? It's kind of like the whole summary of the whole story, and then the story happens, right? Revelation. And then, so Adam is in the making. You are Adam or Eve, depending on male or female, right? If you're male, you're male, female. But if you're Adam, then essentially your goal is to become the Michael, the Michael, the Christ. You have to reunite with your inner divinity and exit the fallen state back into Eden, the garden of bliss. And you do that through living upright, right? And it takes time, it takes transmutation, and it takes a lot of introspection, and also takes a lot of suffering. But as Samael Weor said, conscious suffering is key, because when you know that life sometimes gets you down, to understand that in the same way the seasons go through summer, spring, winter, fall, we have sometimes a fall or winter, and we understand that this time that will pass and a good day will come again. And that good day will usually be into an extent of the alchemical lead that you transmuted on one of your bad days. Your bad days and how you handled them are a direct correlation to your good days and how you get to reap them. You reap what you sow. So when you're having those fall or winter type days, remember, plant your seeds, because they will harvest. And you can either grow flowers or weeds. And once you have a great bouquet or garden of flowers within your mind, then you're able to exercise those talents and give those gifts to other people and allow yourself to spread beauty amongst the world. You'll understand your purpose. A lot of people out there are trying to teach, how to, what is your purpose? What exactly should you be doing with your life? How to find your purpose? And the truth is, your purpose here is to bring more beauty, love, wisdom, and understanding in any way, shape, or form that you're capable of. Yep. Thank you for stopping by. This is kind of a synopsis of the book club, how it will be. So there'll be more interactive version coming soon on Patreon. Check out innermysteries.org, book a one-on-one consultation, and have a good night.